Hi guys, I just wanted to go through one of these questions from quiz number 4. And so this question combines some information about indifference curves and utility functions. So we have a consumer, Miguel, who is considering tickets to an opera or a baseball game, and he considers them to be perfect substitutes. So that means that he will perfectly trade off one for the other, and in this problem specifically where each generates exactly 1 unit of utility for Miguel. So he doesn't really have any preference at all of one over the other. So the first thing that we're asked to do is to draw an indifference curve for Miguel, and that could be any of his indifference curves. So an indifference curve is just a collection of bundles where all of them yield Miguel the exact same utility. So in order to draw this, let's just pick a point to start out at. So this could be any point, but let's say that he's considering 0 operas and 4 baseball games. And since these two goods are perfect substitutes, and each of them generates exactly 1 unit of utility for Miguel, then we just need to come up with some other bundles where they're also just as good as no operas and 4 baseball games. So one such bundle would be the opposite bundle, where he has 4 operas and no baseball games. That would be on the same indifference curve. Or the midpoint of that, where he attends 2 operas and 2 baseball games, or 3 and 1, or 1 and 3, right? Any of these points in between here, right? He can always just trade off 1 opera for 1 baseball game, or 1 baseball game for 1 opera. So this is one of his indifference curves, and you could have drawn any other indifference curve that looked like this with a slope of 1. So the second part of this question asks us what is his utility function? And so O is going to represent the number of opera tickets, and B will represent the number of baseball games. And what we need this utility function to do for us is we need it to represent his preferences, where he will always trade off exactly 1 baseball game for exactly 1 opera. No matter how many baseball games he's currently attending, he will always just give up 1 baseball game and add an opera, and he'll be indifferent between those. And specifically here, we're told that each of those generates 1 unit of utility for him. So his utility function then will be U is equal to O plus B. Right? No matter what the number of operas he attends, each unit then just generates 1 unit of utility, and exactly the same is true for the number of baseball games. Right? It doesn't matter how many operas he's currently attending. If he adds 1 more baseball game, he gets 1 more unit of utility. It doesn't matter how many baseball games he's currently attending. If he adds 1 more opera, he gets 1 more unit of utility. And this is actually the only utility function that perfectly represents that type of preference.